Hey you guys, so I guess this is sort of a bonus video if you would, but I just kind of wanted you guys' opinion on this, right? Because, okay, whenever I was thinking about this after I uploaded my last video, and I was thinking about like how you could have something where you put so much effort into it, but like if you were to try to explain it to someone else, they wouldn't really, that same effort isn't equal across different disciplines, you know what I mean? Say for example, if I was studying to be like a lawyer or something, right? Because I've thought about this a lot, right? Where it's like, man, I wonder where I'd be if I put that same effort into something else. Like, not in the sense that I regret, right? But like, it's just more out of curiosity. It's like, because I think about like, I don't know. I was talking to this guy, on one of my routes yesterday, like at the moving company, and I was like, man, what are you going to school for? And he's like, stationary engineering or something like that. And I was thinking, like, man, if I told someone like I was working 500 hours, like I've put over 10,000 hours or something into like concept art, right? They Most people, like, if they're not an artist, if they're not creative, you know what I mean, they're not really gonna give it much thought. um they're gonna, oh, it's like, oh, okay. Like if you said that about like something cool, like I don't know, like jujitsu or something, right? It's like different, but art is such a subjective thing. So it's easy for people to kind of brush past the effort that you put into it, of course, because on the outside it looks easy. But like, I'm wondering for some of you guys who are, because I'm sure you guys come from all kinds of different professions. So like, I'm wondering, like, if because, okay, my question basically is like, it, well, for, okay, shit, dude, I didn't have a script for this shit, but like, I just want to kind of give a word of advice to those out there that are pursuing the same thing. Um, to just not expect the same kind of, uh I guess you could say, praise, right? Because if I were like studying to be like that guy said was like a stationary engineer, he's like studying to do that. If I was saying that, like, man, I've been studying for this thing, and I'm just trying to make sure I get a job, it's been super rough so far, but I'm keeping at it. I'm taking courses and mentorships on it. If I said I was doing that for fucking law, like, people would be over the roof. It's like, holy shit, this guy's trying to get it. Like, he's trying to make it. You know what I mean? But like, on the same like, on the other foot, like, you say it for art or design or something, it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? um I don't know. I was just thinking about that, like, for those of you out there who have, different professions or come from different professions into art, like, what was that like for you? Because when I was a cashier, I talked to a lot of different kinds of, obviously, a lot of different kinds of people, and a lot of them were sometimes like med students, and when people say they're going to go study, it's a lot. There's obviously a big difference in, like, because okay, when a med student comes in, right, and they say, damn, like, it's a lot of studying. Like, I've watched YouTube videos, um, from people like going into med school, because I'm curious about like that different, because the one thing that's the same between these two is the hours that you have to put in when you don't feel like doing it, and you'd rather be doing anything else sometimes, regardless of the profession. You're always going to have that those times, no matter how much you love it. So like, when med students come in and they say, like, yeah, like, I was studying like all night, like, I can relate to that shit, because like, I only did it for a year, mind you, but they're doing it for, fucking, 10 or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's 10, 5, 8, I don't know. But like, obviously I can relate to that, because all I have to do in my mind is multiply FCD times like fucking like 6 or something, and I'm like, fuck that. Like, hell nah. But like, I always find myself hesitating to bring that up, like, that I'm a, and my friends know this. Like, I rarely ever really refer to myself as an artist. I'll just say like a designer or something, because like, I just know what the like, what's associated with that, the stereotype or whatever, like the, um cliche, I guess, of the broke artist, right? So like whenever that comes up in a conversation, it's like always kind of weird for me because I'm like, man, like I know what you're talking about, man. Like I like imagine if I was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're like you're studying to be like a surgeon or some shit, and I'm like, yeah, man, I had to draw pictures for fucking 18 hours a day. You know, I'm 4 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're gonna look at that shit and be like, what the fuck? But like at the root of it, you know, it's you're studying the same well, not the same shit, but like I guess in my case, you know, you're studying architecture, you're studying, you know, the fundamentals of like what makes a design good, or what makes something not work, what makes it unique, what makes it, you know, boring. And then if you want to take it a step further than that, you know, with each design, you're looking into history, you're looking into, you know, what things are based off of, how things evolve into other things in the same region. You know, you're studying a lot of the same shit. So like it's really weird because when this guy brought that up, I was just like, yeah, like I was like, fuck, man, do I really want to try to explain this shit? And then it's always weird too because when you explain that, or in my case at least, I don't know how it is for anyone else who's went to FZD. Like maybe you guys relate to this shit, maybe you don't, or any like other kind of like art school or anything, right? But like when you explain that you went to school for that thing and like you're working at a fucking furniture moving company, it's like, all right, well, if you put in all of these hours, like what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like why is he here? You know what I mean? Like he must have gave up on it or something, you know what I mean? And it's like, nah, man, like it's just that hard. So I'm wondering, I know like the job industry like across different fields and stuff is all different, so it just makes me wonder like because I mean of course you have people who graduate from college, they you know really good at GPAs and shit and really knowledgeable people, and then like they end up just not getting a damn job because of the market, or like, you know, certain industries aren't hiring right now, or mass layoffs, you know, you just, but like in that case I guess it's more like society kind of like accepts that's gonna be a part of the journey more. Like there's no archetype, like there's no like archetype for like the broke doctor, you know, the starving doctor. You know what I mean? The second you say artist, it's like, all right, this guy's like like I don't know, I wonder what people imagine when I say that, you know what I mean? It's just, so I'm like wondering, like for people who, you know, went to school for like law or something like that and they don't have a job yet, or like they don't have consistent, you know, it's like I wonder how that's taken. Because this also came up because my mom, like she was asking me how I was doing with like the design and stuff, and I was like the whole design thing, and she's like, yeah, I'm surprised you don't have like a job yet. And I'm just like, yeah, you and me both, you know. I mean, and in the back of my mind, like I know it's because I know part of it has something to do with the fact that I don't send out, you know, mass applicant. I'm not like mass applying to places like I should be. But I also don't like, on the other hand, like I'm still putting things out there. I'm still sharpening my skills and shit like that. You know, I don't know how much that counts for exactly. But I just wonder if there, like, what other professions out there are there out there that are similar, you know? Because I don't think, I mean, I guess the only other thing could be like saying you're trying to make your own, like open your own business in a sense. Because if you're like a business major, I mean, I guess you could fall into that same boat. But I don't know, man. This is just something I think about with every conversation I have, because it's hard for me not to bring that up, because it's such a big, it's such a massive part of like my life at this point. You know how much effort and thought I've dedicated to this thing that's just not worked out yet. You know, as consistently as people would imagine someone that's put that much work into something would. You know, like I don't think I think it's very hard for people to imagine that you could put, you know, 8,000 hours or something into something like that, and get decently well at it and just still not have a job to show for it. You know, an everyday job if you're not a freelancer. And then if you are a freelancer, it's like, well, that's another thing that was for me, right? Like when I worked at the as a cashier, like people would ask like, dude, why do you work here? Like you seem like a decently smart guy. Like I'm not, I swear to God, I'm not like trying to toot my own horn or some shit like that, but like people would say that, like some ladies would say that, and I'd be like, no, like I actually like I do design, you know, freelance and stuff like that. This is kind of just to keep the food on the table, kind of. And they're like, yeah, well, I hope you're not in here too much longer, you know, like I hope things work out. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, me too. You know, that's usually kind of like the reaction that I would, you know, you would kind of want to have, you know, like people who understand like things don't just come overnight. But on the other hand, it's like I remember I was moving this person out of their apartment. This lady was on like the 14th fucking floor, right? And she was gonna move back to Brazil, so she had a bunch of shit in her apartment that she wanted us to take out. And thank God they had a free elevator that we could take the stuff down easy, you know, put it in the truck, go back up. But like this is another thing. Like it's like she was talking about how humid and hot it is over there, and I'm thinking like, shit, I've lived in Singapore for a year, man. I know how that shit is. And then it's like, oh, like were you were she's like, you were over there for vacation, I'm guessing, right? And in my mind, I was like, I could go and explain that I'm, you know what I mean? I could be like, oh yeah, no, I went to school over there and like to study design and stuff like that, and you know, and then it's like, well, wait a second, it's like, then why are you moving my couch? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's a case of me like overthinking this or not, but like even if I am, I feel like there's some truth in it, right? Because it was like then you go into explaining like because I was just like, oh yeah, no, the food's great over there, you know, it's very affordable, the hawker centers and stuff. I miss that to this day, man. I won't even lie. But yeah, it's like whenever people ask if like I've been to another country or anything like that, like I could say Singapore and say like, oh, I just visited, you know. But like it's just always this weird thing that I'm always struggling or like hesitant to bring up. I'm just wondering if any of you guys have any professions that you can kind of relate to that, and if you guys like are artists yourself, like just try, I don't know, I'd just like to see some examples from your side, you know, of the same kinds of situations where like, because I think, I don't know, I don't think it's, of course there's the uphill battle that you're explaining, you're an artist or whatever and you're unemployed. But like some part of me just dies inside, man, when I explain that. Like, and then the other part is that people don't even believe you, man. Like I remember one time when I was at the grocery store, I was working with this one kid, and he was like, I was like, yeah man, like I'm still trying to make this thing work or whatever. He's like 17, 18 or whatever, so I don't know if like apparently I'm unk status now. So at 27, my birthday was like on the 29th. But like, yeah, I was like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to make this thing work. It just takes, you know, a lot of effort. And he's like, oh, you went to school for it? And then like the first thing people kind of get weirded out by is that like I flew overseas for like a year. You know what I mean? And like that I was only in school for 1 year. So they're thinking like I was in school for 1 year studying, you know, the normal time that people would study in college, which is like 2 to 3 hours a day, right? And then when I say, nah, man, like it was 1 year, but I was studying like, you know, 16 to 18 hours a day. It still feels fucking brutal to say. Like, I don't know how the fuck it feels unreal. It feels like, of course you guys know the school. You guys would probably fucking believe me. Of course the people who went to the school would believe me because they did it too, right? But it's like, he's like, he's like, so how long did you sleep? And I'm like, you know, 3 to 4 hours a day, you know. And I'd be like, nah, get the fuck out of here. And then I'm just like, nah, man, I swear to God, bro. And then they just don't believe me. and then like that's just the end of that, so it's always weird, like, because not only did I, the whole situation around that is just fucking like it just feels like an unbelievable thing, imagine, like, I just don't know any other profession or job or I'm just trying to look for the gaps in my thoughts here. You know what I mean? This is a definitely like the not the usual kind of video I would make, but I'm sure like if you guys are also like concept artists or artists just in general, you've been through the same thing in one way or another, right? Be it paying for a brainstorm class or like going to art side in France, like I don't fucking know, like, but yeah, it's always tricky because with it being such a big part of my life, it's also like largely like like heavily just unbelievable. I might as well say like I can shoot fucking lasers out of my eyeballs when no one's looking type shit. Like it's like I said type shit again, bro. I don't know. Like it basically feels like telling people I'm a fucking wizard, but I can't show them. Like yeah, I can cast fireballs, bro. And then like they're like, show me, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that right now. I can't do that right now. Like it's just it's a strange. It feels like a chicken or the egg situation, man. I don't know what the fuck, like how to. Because most people when they think someone going to school, they're thinking 4 years or 3 years at least, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, no, I went to Singapore for 1 year and I studied for 16 to 18 hours a day, 16 18 hours a day. um yeah, and I've put over like 9,000 hours or something into this, and I still don't have a consistent job. It's like, nah, something's wrong with this fucking guy, man. There's something not right. Like, if I were a lawyer and I said some shit like that, I think people would have a lot more sympathy, because it's more of a traditional. Like, imagine, like, I just don't. I feel like someone, if they said they were a fucking McDonald's cook, and they've put like they're working on doing engineering or something, and they said, yeah, like I've put like so many hours into this thing, that's a lot more like easy for someone to grasp than saying like, yeah, I go home, dude, and I try to draw pictures and shit, and no one wants to hire me to draw pictures or design. So I'm just really curious on you guys' opinion. Like I said, like I could completely be like overthinking it. I am known to do that. But it's just a gap in my obviously this is something that like I would not like. This is me being very vulnerable, I think. I just don't I've of course like talked to my friends about this too, but I'm just really curious what you guys have to say, and like if you guys have any similar stories, because this is something that always comes up. Like people I don't know, the people I work with, right? Like being in a moving company and shit like that, or like, be it like any other previous job I've had, like, usually they're like felons or something like that, or like, not the brightest, not the sharpest tool in the shed. So like when sometimes people see someone who's like a little bit, more, it sounds like I swear to God, like I'm not trying to sound like some smart ass, but like when they see someone who can, who can do something like anything other than that, probably, I don't know, like I don't know what qualities people are looking for to have to bring this shit up to me every time, but like whatever makes a person want to ask you why are you here, man? You could do so much better. It's like uh it's just always such a hard thing for me to explain. I just don't know how to. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is just like, and it's something that I'm guessing is gonna keep happening more and more, especially being in this job, because like I said, like I'll walk up to someone's house with a guy who's definitely been to jail a few too many times or something, or he's ate way too many edibles or some shit, and like they're like thinking like, man, like what the fuck. But yeah, I just want to know what you guys think. I guess this is kind of just a bonus video or something, just asking you guys a question. I don't expect too many. I don't expect this video to do like well or anything. I don't want it to really, but it's just something that I've kind of noticed, and I'm just wondering if anyone else has noticed it in a different career path, or even if it's the same one. Honestly, I'm curious how you guys handle it, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with that. So yeah, all right, see you guys, peace.